Mm-hmm.
I don't really think y'all said nothing that I just disagree with. Like,
Mm-hmm.
about Bro and Cooper Flay. It wasn't nothing really just too, everybody got their own opinion. But that's what I
Right.
really want to know. I said, man, I can't believe Bruce gonna let this slide. But
Nah, we
I
talked
missed
about
it.
it, man.
All right, man. Holler at y'all, Sneed, Bruce.
All right. Appreciate the call,
Take care,
Nino.
brother.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Uh,
All right. All right. So I wanted to just address a quick couple things. I wanted to address a quick couple things from Face of the League in the chat. So Magic doesn't crap on Luka any chance he gets, but he did talk about how Luka needs to take his conditioning more seriously in order to be better. So Magic didn't even really talk about Luka like that until Luka came to the Lakers. So we know Magic is Mr. Laker. He is going to talk about the Lakers because he loves them. He bleeds purple and gold. He wants them to be successful. And if you have a guy that's going to be that next guy, he's going to tell you what needs to happen, because besides maybe Kobe, who else is better to tell you what needs to happen in order to have success than Magic Johnson, man? Cut it out. Cut it out. We're not doing that. Next, Cooper is being set up to succeed. Haven't seen a black number one pick land on a contender since 79. So Patrick Ewing in 85, I believe they were a playoff team the year prior, right? Bernard King was killing at that time.
Hold on, Bruce, real quick.
Yeah.
The Mavericks are a number one contender?
No. He says he's never seen a black number one pick land on a contender since 1979. He didn't say a number one contender.
Is that true? Is that true?
It's not true. Patrick Ewing landed on a playoff team. Tim Duncan landed on a playoff team. That was in the Western Conference Finals, 2 years earlier?
He landed with a similarly positioned player who was all-time great.
Yes.
Like defensive player of the year, league MVP, great.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, right, Nino, Tim Duncan. That's what we said. So Tim Duncan.
What we're seeing right now is reaching.
Yeah, there's definitely some reaching going on.
There's desperate reaching to try to shit on other players.
Well,
who landed in good positions
and
were able to then execute a great career. See, you can get a situation and you can get an opportunity and squander it.
That's true.
Carmelo Anthony squandered his opportunities. He is a case study in squandering greatness.
Mm-hmm.
He left meat on the bone. Right. His career could have been very different, but he was the architect of his career.
There you go. Okay, well, let's go ahead and we'll take it to the next topic. I guess we're not going to get a call in from Face of the League. I guess we're going to continue to see I would have loved to talk to him.
Yeah,
but it's all good. All right, let's go to the NFL, man, because on this, sorry, y'all. What happened there?
Lost our graphics, man.
Yeah, lost the graphics. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. We're gonna go to the NFL. Pardon me for that, y'all, because we love talking the NFL here on the Format Podcast, and it's not much longer. Thank goodness, football's coming back. NFL, college football.
We need the league.
Football guy, I meant to ask you that.
I do. I follow it a little bit. Not as much as I used to. When I was in college, when I was in high school, I followed it more closely. But as long as my Buckeyes are competitive, I'm in tune with it. Absolutely.
Listen, I don't hate Ohio State, but needless to say, I don't feel good about them because they beat my Irish for the national championship last year. But I don't have undue dislike for Ohio State.
Yeah, but I mean, you're only speaking to it from the fandom perspective. Of course. I still think you're capable of offering objective commentary and perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we try to do here.
It's tough. The fan side is always very strong, right? It's a powerful force.
It is. Absolutely. But let's go to the next topic, man. This I thought was a really good note here. Todd Bowles and Jason Light, the head coach and general manager of the Tampa Bay Bucks, both got extensions. The exact terms of the extensions weren't put out there, so we don't know how much money they are. But Todd Bowles, I think, got an additional 3 years, and Jason Light, it just says a multi-year extension. So let's start with Todd Bowles, man. Really good on him. As we know, the NFL consistently goes through issues in terms of minority, particularly black coach hires. And often, unfortunately, when black coaches in the NFL do get hired, they don't often get the same runway in terms of time to build or, teams really going all out to set them up for success. It often doesn't happen that way. But we saw Todd Bowles, who was the defensive coordinator for the championship team under Bruce Arians, the Super Bowl winning Bucks with Tom Brady and Bruce Arians as head coach. We saw him get promoted to head coach, which was awesome. But not only that, he was given the opportunity to stay the course and have success. So shout out to him. He's 61 now, and he is entering his 4th season as the Buccaneers head coach. So he has a 27-24 regular season with the Bucks, which is not great, but he has led them to 3 consecutive division titles and been in the playoffs every year, right? So that's love right there. He's also done a very good job of hiring offensive coordinators. As we've seen, his offensive coordinators have both gone on to become head coaches and have helped Baker Mayfield kind of resurrect a career that was floundering and have, arguably the best 3-year stretch of his career. So let me ask you, what do you think of Bowles, and what do you think of this move to extend him?
The move makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get a good thing, and you need to keep it and protect it and preserve it. And it's like a garden. You need to water it. You need to, prune and take care of and all those kind of things. Todd Bowles has won his division in consecutive years. So 3 in a row, right? They finished first in the NFC South in 22, 23, and 24. Mm-hmm. That is primary objective number 1 as an NFL team, winning your division. And then the follow-up to that is, well, let's get some playoff success. Mm-hmm. He now needs that, right? So, they lost to the Cowboys in the NFC wildcard game back in 22. It's kind of sneaking into the playoffs, right? They were 8-9, but they got in because they won the division. They follow up by winning the division again in 2023. They lose to the Lions in the divisional game. So that's still a step forward compared to the previous year.
Yeah.
So their record improved. They still won the division, and then they moved further into the playoffs. They then follow up last year by improving the record, going 10-7, winning the division, and then losing to the Washington Commanders, who went on to have a lot of success. So the things have lined up that he's a competitive coach. They have a competitive team, and they're experiencing success. So why the hell wouldn't you give that man the vote of confidence, the security that you've done enough to earn this type of a contract?
Mm-hmm. Well, the answer to that question is because in every sport, you're going to have owners like James Dolan who do dumb things, right? You might be thinking, oh, okay, now this team is in good shape. We'll get the guy to come in and take them over the hump. A lot of owners no longer have patience. A lot of GMs and presidents no longer have patience. And so they're like, okay, this guy's taking us as far as he can take us. Get him out of here. We'll bring in the next guy. And they end up ruining everything.
Yeah.
So I think continuity is very important in sports. And I think it was a great move to extend Todd Bowles. I like it a lot. He's the first coach to ever win 3 straight division championships with the Bucks.
Which there's been Tony Dungy in Tampa Bay. There's been some quality guys.
Dungy, John Gruden,
Bruce Arians.
You've had some good coaches down there, right? So and again, I'm really impressed with the offensive coordinator hires, because even though he's a defensive guy, he hired good guys that really helped his offense to continue to flourish. And this is an offense with a lot of weapons and really good quarterback play. Obviously, everybody knows I'm a fan of Baker, touchdown maker. But, again, he's had the best stretch of his career, and they have done a great job surrounding him with weapons. And we'll talk some more about those weapons when we get to GM Jason Light. But I think it was a really good move to go ahead and extend Todd Bowles. And here was his statement towards the Glazer family who own the team. Quote, "I'm extremely appreciative of the confidence that the Glazer family has shown in my abilities to lead this football team. My family loves Tampa, and we're looking forward to delivering more great moments for our fans in the coming seasons," unquote. So, hopefully he will have the opportunity to finish that out, continue to have success, and build the team. The teams at the top of the NFC are tough. If you're Tampa Bay, you can only hope that the NFC North will cannibalize itself and make things a little easier for you come playoff time. But at the end of the day, you still got to get the job done. And quick side note, Tampa Bay is heading towards South Florida. How is it they have figured out how to be able to play in inclement weather and the Dolphins can't? That just occurred to me. What's that about?
Maybe it's not exactly the same. I don't know.
I just thought about that. I'm like, what is this?
The weather patterns in Florida can be very, very regional. So,
That is
like,
true.
northwest, northeast, central, south could be different. So
Yeah.
it's there's little pockets of Florida that are more prone to devastating hurricane impacts.
Yeah.
So it can vary a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting because don't try to put the Dolphins in any type of cold weather. They will lose. It's just
Oh, you're speaking from that. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's a mentality thing.
I thought so.
That's a mentality thing. Like if you tell a person, "Hey, you're going to work this construction job, and some of these jobs are going to take you into some states with inclement weather," your answer shouldn't be, if I really care about making money and opportunity, your answer shouldn't be, "Ah, man, the weather ain't good there. I ain't going there." I mean, if you really care about making money and revenue and growth and all that, I'm going to buy more gloves. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to be resilient. I'm going to dress for the weather. Like that's the response is dealing and making it happen, not excuses.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. All right. So the second part of this, and I think this was good too, because clearly they work well together. Jason Light, he has been with the team for 11 years. He's entering his 12th season as the Bucs GM. He's the NFL's 5th longest tenured general manager. So Jason Light also got an extension, and that's good for him, in fairness, because he's the guy that was able to really put a lot of things in place that are allowing this team to have success. His tenure includes building the roster that won Super Bowl 55 in 2020. Let's see. He's noted for key free agent signings like Tom Brady, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, as well as drafting other players such as Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield Jr., Chris Godwin. Also, he drafted Jalen McMillan last year. He drafted Emeka Egbuka this year. I mean, Baker got a lot of toys to play with. Also drafted Bucky Irving, the running back out of Oregon, more than 1,000 yards as a rookie. He should improve. So, did a good job shoring up that O-line. Jason Light has definitely put a lot of good things in place in Tampa Bay, really giving these guys the opportunity to have success. I thought this was interesting. Tampa Bay leads the NFL in snaps and starts by homegrown players drafted in rounds 1 through 5 since 2014. And we know how transient a league the NFL is, right? Average NFL career is only 3 seasons, I believe. So between trades and free agency and guys getting cut and guys injury retiring and all that, to be able to lead the league in a category like that, very impressive. So that shows that he's done a good job there as well. His quote was, quote, "I'm very grateful to the Glazer family for the trust and belief they have shown in what we are doing here. I'm also very excited to continue working alongside Todd well into the future as we continue our mission of finding and developing talented players and chasing additional championships for our fans," unquote. What do you think about Jason Light in that extension?
So his performance to this point seems actually very good. You look at the players he's drafted, the players that they retain.
Yes.
Right. And develop, like, when you think about like coaching staff and then the team management that's drafting players,
Right.
and then hitting on the free agents. So not only is he good at identifying talent, drafting talent, retaining talent, but then long term, like they still have these guys, and they're still an important part of their team. So he's hitting on all these things. What do you want from your GM? I think these are all the things that teams are looking for. You don't just let those guys go. You extend those guys, you keep them long term, you let them know that you're riding with them.
Right.
You're here, you're with us. This is your responsibility. They give them the entire thing, right? The whole scope of control of that role. And you're not stepping on toes, you're not breathing down their backs, and it allows them to excel and be great. And they did the right thing. How many guys can you actually say are doing a better job than this guy?
No, not many. So this was interesting. I didn't know this. Under Bowles and Light, the Buccaneers have achieved 5 consecutive playoff berths, okay? Longest in franchise history, and are the only NFC team to reach the postseason in each of the last 5 years. that says a lot. We know how football is. Football leads all the major sports, in divisional switches from worst to first and first to worst. So to be able to have that level of sustained success is very impressive. 4 straight NFC South titles with Bowles leading 3 of them, and obviously they have a championship. So just overall, really good stuff that you're seeing there. I like it. I like the stability because that's the other thing I don't get. How many owners don't value stability in sports? Because obviously you can't be stable with somebody who's bad, but I think you also have to give them time to be able to create the success. And so when you look at being able to maintain stability, I think it can go a long way towards having the success that you want.
Well, in order to have stability, you have to make a good decision on the personnel first.
That's true.
And then allow that to kind of foster.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not going in the right direction, 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, if you know something is wrong early, you made a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you missed something. There was a flag that you didn't see.
Right.
You know, so that's actually more telling on the ownership group.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or there was like some kind of a regression, transgression, something occurred, and then the situation changed. But what the Bucs are doing is precisely what they should be doing, and what a lot of the bad teams in the league don't have.
Yeah,
and don't demonstrate.
Quick to jump ship. Yeah, agreed. All right,
like my Cleveland Browns.
You pulling a LeBron? You had to bring that back around to you.
You know it's true. The Browns, like, they don't have any of those things. They lack all of those things.
Agreed. Well, no, I think they have a very good coach, and they have allowed him to. I think Stefanski's a really good coach. And
I'm looking historically at the way it's been since 1999, since they came back into the league.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know what the real problem is? They should have never let him back in the league. Oh,
that hurts, bro. That hurts.
No doubt.
Meanwhile, I got my Browns winning championships in Baltimore.
I don't know about Browns being in Baltimore. I know about Ravens.
My Browns are in Baltimore, sir.
Oh man, good stuff. All right, let's take we'll take 2 quick calls on this. See if anybody's got to say what the thoughts are on the extensions for Todd Light and Todd Bowles and Jason Light. Excuse me, from the Buccaneers.
Yeah, Todd Bowles, good coach, man.
Very good coach. Yeah,
and I didn't know that about that GM. I mean, you see the success, so you know they're doing good things. But this, highlighting it in this segment really does kind of show and demonstrate that this guy has been doing good things for a long time. They ain't doing that in Dallas, bro.
No, they're not doing that in Dallas. That is correct. Yeah. You better chill. Ms. Derilla's going to get on you. You talk about her Cowboys, man.
I mean, here we are. How'd last season go? How'd the season before go? How did the season before that go?
How'd every season since 95 go?
How's it going?
Listen, as a fan of a long-suffering championship drought team, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But at least my team's played in a couple of chips. I mean, although if you lose, what does it really matter, right? But
yeah, you want to compete there, and you want to get there, and you want to get to the promised land.
Yes, you want to finish the job. That's correct. All right, looks like we're not going to get any calls on this topic, so we'll go ahead and move right along.
This one might get some calls. This next one might get some calls.
I think this is interesting. So, Big Ben Roethlisberger, he has a podcast. I think it's called Footballing with Big Ben or Footballing with Ben Roethlisberger. And I didn't know about it until last couple of days. I heard about his commentary on basically it was, I think someone sent in a question asking if you would take prime Aaron Rodgers over Patrick Mahomes now, right? And I was like, that's a very good question. But I actually took it and kind of moved the goalpost a little bit. And I said, would you take prime Aaron Rodgers over prime Pat Mahomes? Because I think Pat Mahomes is just moved out of his prime. Still extremely good, but maybe just out of his prime in terms of we don't see him doing what he did when he was at top of the world. But let's hear what Big Ben had to say, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get back and we'll kind of dive into maybe some of the numbers and give our thoughts on this, because I still haven't been able to make a decision, to be honest. But let's hear what Big Ben had to say.
Oh, I think it was did someone ask a question about would I take Aaron in his prime or Patrick Mahomes now?
Yeah.
Well, I would take Aaron in his prime over Patrick now. I think Aaron Rodgers in his prime was one of the top few to ever do it, and so is Patrick Mahomes at his prime. Patrick Mahomes is just like entering out of his prime. I think.
You think?
I mean, yes, I think Patrick Mahomes is a phenomenal. He's going to go down as a another arguable GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only like one GOAT, but there's GOATs.
Whole herd of
There's a whole herd of goats.
Is that a herd? Herd of goats?
Herd of goats. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So actually, I looked this up real quick because I do things like that. So apparently, a herd of goats, a group of goats, is most commonly called a herd, but there are two other names for it. One is a tribe of goats.
Okay.
And the other is a trip of goats.
Okay, so groupings of goats. Okay.
Groupings of goats, yes. Herd, tribe, or trip. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I'm like, let me look this up because I've never.
Yeah,
it's always funny. Like you got a pod of dolphins, like groups of animals.
Shoals. You have schools. You have like all these.
Right. Pride of lions. So yeah. So now we know we have a herd, a tribe, or a trip of goats. All right, there you go. I guess this would be your useless information for today. Although I don't believe there's generally useless information except higher.
We'll remember this. We'll remember this in the future. We will.
That's correct. That's correct. All right, let's get back to what they were saying.
Yeah,
it could be some unique word, but
yeah. You think Aaron's better?
I think the Aaron in his prime. Then we're talking about Patrick right now.
Yeah.
That's the key.
If we're talking prime and prime, then I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna really have to think hard on that. Like I am.
Patrick, if we're saying, I think it's because Patrick cut the hair, bro.
And by no stretch of the imagination am I saying Patrick Mahomes is not good. If this was a question of right now
that'd be the
versus
headline.
the best.
That'd be the headline.
I know. Roethlisberger thinks Mahomes terrible. No. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was just a good question. That's a good question though.
Okay, so Pat Mahomes now, I don't think he's as good as prime Aaron Rodgers, and I'm okay with that. But when we start talking about prime versus prime, which is more so where I wanted to take this, that's when you get into a really serious discussion, just in terms of like they played for the most part under pretty much the same rules, right? Aaron Rodgers prime versus Pat Mahomes' prime. Very similar game, but now you got to really start looking at it and you say, man, like the numbers are almost identical. So I actually looked this up. Well, before I even give you that, what are your thoughts on that? If you had to compare and pick prime Aaron Rodgers versus prime Patrick Mahomes, which one are you taking?
My question to that statement, just the statement itself, Bruce, is what does Aaron Rodgers do in his prime that Pat Mahomes can't do right now? So that's my first question. And then the nuance to that is, if there is something or some things that are tangibly identifiably better, what are they? Because I would like to pick those things apart. I don't see the things that Aaron Rodgers did then in his prime that Pat Mahomes can't do. So the nuance would be, you need to explain to me what those things are that are tangibly better from A-Rod in his prime versus Mahomes today.
So it is funny that you say that, because whenever people talk about Aaron Rodgers being arguably the greatest thrower of the football we've ever seen, et cetera, I always say, Mr. Marino is knocking at your door. Hold on. Or I always say, Mr. Elway is knocking at your door. Hold on. Like Warren Moon is knocking at your door. Hold on. There are players who are capable of making every single throw and doing every single thing that Aaron Rodgers could do in his prime. And they did it in the face of way more physical defense, rules that didn't protect the quarterback same way, rules that didn't protect the receivers the same way. So that's going to skew numbers. So I think, especially if you're looking across errors, we got to hold off on the numbers, right? Because those things really change things. Now that said, I do think there are a number of, while Aaron Rodgers is elite, I do think there are a number of quarterbacks who could do all the things he could do. So that's very interesting that you asked that question, because I don't think there's anything that he could do that prime Mahomes can't do, right? I also don't think there's anything that prime Mahomes could do that prime Aaron Rodgers couldn't do. So I do think that this is legitimately a toss-up. I think the arm talent is probably about the same. I think they are both.
That's what I'm saying, Bruce. Like, give me 10 things that we could check off, like check boxes, You put these guys in a column, 2 columns, put a checkbox.
Right.
Where is it clear that this guy was better than this guy? And if they're just about the same, that's a push. I can't say with certainty.
Right. I do think it's a push. The Goon, what's going on, Goon? Prime Patrick Mahomes is better than prime Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers couldn't win as much as Mahomes, and winning is what matters at the end of the story. True indeed. But is there any sport where winning is more dependent on your surrounding cast than football? I don't know. I don't know that there is. So, like, we've got to take that into account. Now, for as good as Aaron Rodgers was, should he have won more? Yes. But football is so much nuance in terms of.
Well, look at his championship that he won in Green Bay. They were a wild card team.
Right. That's right.
They were like second or third worst chances to win the Super Bowl.
Yes, that was a great run.
Yeah, so it's almost like the lightning has to strike in a bottle, right? Like everything has to work.
Yeah, I agree with this far, but with more control. So here's the thing, right?
So then they're not the same because control is important.
Well, I think he's saying he sees the Favre in terms of the mobility, the Favre in terms of the gunslinger mentality, the Favre in terms of being able to make all those throws off like amazing and ridiculous platforms. Like, Transformer always talks about, I think it was in the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay. He's literally like, his body is horizontal to the ground, parallel to the ground, excuse me. He's almost horizontal. And somehow he, manages to zip a throw downfield. Like, he can do things very few other quarterbacks have ever been able to do. So I get that. So what I'll say is this. To me, the biggest separator of Patrick Mahomes, and obviously we'll never truly know, would Pat Mahomes be what Pat Mahomes is if he didn't luck into Andy Reid? I think that's such a huge factor. He's got one of the all-time great quarterback coaches with him. I think that's so huge. And so now we ask the question, if prime Aaron Rodgers is with Andy Reid, does he have more than one Super Bowl? Yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe, but I will say that Andy Reid didn't do any winning anywhere else without Pat Mahomes.
Well,
so like, you take Philadelphia, like they lost NFC Championship games, they lost the Super Bowl, and Andy Reid was viewed as a guy who couldn't break through.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. But I mean, just in terms of being able to put a quarterback in position to maximize his ability, we saw Andy Reid do that with Mike Vick. We saw Andy Reid do that with Donovan McNabb, getting him to like borderline Hall of Fame, right?
He was an NFC Pro Bowler perennially for about a decade.
Yes. So, I really think that Andy Reid, to me, and this is not to say Mahomes couldn't have been great if he landed somewhere else. I just think having the opportunity to sit most of the rookie year behind a consummate pro and a very good quarterback, Alex Smith, right? Learn from that. Learn how to be a pro. Learn how to read the film, blah, blah, blah. And then Andy Reid, one of the great quarterback coaches of all time, you get him, and then everything just kind of comes together. I think was a huge benefit to what Mahomes became. Not saying he couldn't have won elsewhere, just saying that was a big part of it.
I think the thing about like this conversation about Aaron Rodgers is maybe it's what Aaron Rodgers did after he won the championship that actually prevented him from finding more success. His personality seemed that he was not as hungry, he was not as driven, he was know-it-all. He was, I've done this, I'm the best, everybody talking about how great I am. Dude, like how you respond to your moment of greatness, like now you're in this elite company. Like Mahomes seems to be doing this a little bit differently than Aaron Rodgers did in Green Bay. Like Mahomes still, to me, seems like he's chasing greatness and is not braggadocious about who he is. I saw that from A-Rod.
Right.
A-Rod moved like a guy who had nothing to prove after one championship.
Right.
I don't see that with Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I think some of that Aaron Rodgers was the architect of his lack of success after his Super Bowl.
It's a great point. And, people will point to saying Aaron Rodgers never had the elite defenses, and to an extent, that's true.
There were some good years where they had good defenses.
That's right. Yeah. I like what you're saying. Pat Mahomes still seems to have that hunger year in and year out. While things change around him, he's still hungry. And, you look at it, but just from a statistical standpoint, I looked this up, and what's kind of considered their prime stretches, 4-year primes, are almost identical. It's crazy. This has Aaron Rodgers' prime listed as 2010 through 2014, 77 regular season starts, a little over 22,000 passing yards, averaging 4,427 passing yards per season, 287 passing yards per game, averaging 34 touchdowns per season, 171 total, 33 interceptions over those 4 years, 0.43 per game. Completion percentage, 66.8, league average, 61%. So you see, yards per attempt, 8.2. The efficiency was elite. His best season, I guess, would be 2011, 4,643 passing yards, 45 touchdowns, 6 picks, 70% completions. Out of this world, right? Obviously, the playoff record needs work. 6-4, 1 Super Bowl win. So you have that. And during that time, 2 most valuable player awards, 4-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. Okay. Now, Patrick Mahomes, 80 regular season games, 3 more than Aaron Rodgers. Passing yards, 24,241. Now, that would probably reflect, again, skewing of the game in terms of the NFL being more pass happy now. And also Andy Reid, while he is not hesitant to run it, he would prefer to throw it. And Mike McCarthy is more willing to run it. So you got that. So Pat Mahomes is 24,241 passing yards for an average of 48 per season and 303 yards per game during his prime. So just a little bit, what's that, about 15 more yards per game passing, and what's that, about 200 more per season. So pretty much a wash, right? 192 passing touchdowns for an average of 38 per season, 2.4 per game, 49 picks, average of 9.8 per season. So that's probably where Aaron Rodgers really separates himself from so many other quarterbacks. He doesn't throw picks, but he's not throwing picks at the expense of not being a volume passer. So his level of efficiency in his prime was out of this world. Completion percentage, check this out. Pat Mahomes, 66.7%. Aaron Rodgers, 66.8. So you can see that, right? You can see these guys are right there, Yards per attempt, 7.9. I think yards per attempt for Aaron Rodgers, 8.2. It's like, where do we go with this? Accolades, 2 MVPs, 5-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro. It's all right there. So I think this is just, super interesting to look at. And I guess at the end of the day, right, this is a show and we're talking about it, and the topic is Rodgers versus Mahomes in their prime. Which one would you rather have? So before I try to answer that, I guess I got to qualify this question. Are we excluding the winning? I don't know if you really can. And just looking at what each quarterback is able to do, or do we include the winning? Because at the end of the day, as it was said in the chat, that's what we do, right?
Mm-hmm. You play to win the game.
Yeah. And, with Mahomes, his outcomes are elite. He's getting to these Super Bowls. It's become the Mahomes Invitational for the AFC Championship.
It has.
And he's very dominant, and he's got late game drives to win huge games.
Yeah, man.
So he checks boxes that are unique to the best players of all time.
Yep.
So
great point.
I don't know how Ben Roethlisberger and these people can say so vehemently that Aaron Rodgers' prime, he was better than Patrick Mahomes' prime. I don't see the clearness of it.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben, he said Aaron Rodgers' prime versus Roethlisberger, versus Mahomes now.
But this is part of Mahomes' prime.
I don't know if it is. It seems like he's come down a bit. Like, for instance, when I looked it up, his prime is listed here as 2018 through 2022.
How old is he?
I was just about to ask that. Yeah.
So, and we've seen quarterbacks win Super Bowls in their 30s.
That's true.
I get it. It's like a young man's game, but the position is different. the quarterback position is not the running back position.
That's true.
You know, and guys
now than ever. So
and guys develop their game as quarterbacks through different parts of their career. Like Matt Stafford is still an excellent quarterback talent, and I think he's approaching 40.
Yeah.
And Michael Vick's best years as a quarterback, he was clearly past his prime.
That was after he came out of jail. That's right. So Pat Mahomes is 29. He will be 30 on September 20.
There's going to be Super Bowls that he wins in his 30s.
Yeah, I can see it.
And his prime at the position may not be his physiological prime.
Right.
Because Brady's physiological prime, he was on the bench.
Correct.
You know, and actually his best year, well, potentially could have been his best year. He tore his ACL. They were it was insane with him and Moss.
Yeah.
And they lost to the New York Giants.
Right. This is so tough, man. This is so tough. So you're taking Mahomes prime over Aaron Rodgers prime?
Aaron Rodgers prime in terms of winning was a small window.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to look past Mahomes producing multiple chips and having everything that Aaron Rodgers did
and more,
but has the winning.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers had really good run games in Green Bay.
That's right.
And Aaron Rodgers had years where there was good defenses. And Mahomes had similar things. Good running backs, good blocking, Travis Kelce in his prime, Tyreek Hill. Like they had, the wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers was throwing to were very, very good. Like Devontae Adams,
Jordy Nelson.
Like there but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Aaron Rodgers. I just can't see like you're like, oh, it's so clear that Aaron Rodgers' prime was better. How do you do that?
No, I don't think it's so clear that his prime was better. I think that I was saying I think it's a toss up, but the more you talk, the more I'm leaning towards Mahomes. And then at the end of the day, like we do play to win, right? And that's big. And if I'm consistent, which I really, really try to be, I get on LeBron constantly for the big stage losing. If I get on LeBron for that, although it's a different sport, I got to get on Aaron Rodgers for that as well. And so we got to go Mahomes here. It's a tough one because they were both super, super elite, but yeah, we got to go Mahomes just by a hair.
And then when everybody was saying how great Mahomes was, all of a sudden he wasn't winning anymore. Meanwhile, they're telling Mahomes he's great and he just keeps winning.
Yeah.
They're internalizing their greatness differently.
Yeah, agreed. Yep. It's going to be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers performs in this final season of his career. What is thought to be his final season, as well as it's going to be interesting to see how Mahomes bounces back from that beating he took in the Super Bowl at the hands of the Eagles.
The Eagles were otherworldly.
Yeah, but you know what though? That's the same thing we saw when Tampa Bay beat them up. Tampa Bay beat them the same way. Just got a tremendous amount of pressure, like just front seven dominated.
The Giants, what they did to Tom Brady.
Correct.
That was a front four effort.
Yes.
That was four guys beating up five guys, play after play after play after play.
That's right. Agreed. Good stuff, Sneed. Good stuff. Let's open this up. I want to take a couple calls on this. I would love to hear, what people have to say about Aaron Rodgers' prime versus Pat Mahomes' prime. Who would you take and why? 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264.
I hope the goon calls in, man. I hope the goon. He loves the NFL, bro.
And I see he's a Mahomes guy. You know what though? I gotta say, Transformer's gonna be mad he missed this one. He loves the NFL talk, and this is a great topic.
And I think he's an A-Rod guy, right? Packers and all that.
Yeah, I think so. Edward, what's going on, brother? Good morning.
Good morning, brothers. How y'all doing this lovely Sunday?
What's up?
Doing all right, man.
Hope everybody's doing good. So, question, fellas, y'all have a problem? Y'all don't have a problem with Big Ben the greatest. I ain't gonna say he's the greatest. He has the accolades. He has in top 10 or 5 in accolades when it comes to passing and everything like that. He got the 2 chips, didn't win no All Pros or anything like that. Y'all didn't have a problem with him. Okay, Bruce, chill, bro. You let me finish.
I didn't say.
You were both chill.
Well, go ahead. Say what you gotta say, Edward.
I'm a Steelers fan, so man.
I know.
Do y'all have a problem with him saying he picked a prime Aaron Rodgers? We talking about prime, not overall.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers over a prime Patrick Mahomes, Patty.
I don't have a huge problem with it. No, I don't have a huge problem, but I wouldn't also have a huge problem if he said the opposite.
Okay, and the reason I'm saying that, and then you was talking about the Super Bowls. That's team success. We're just talking about that's the Super Bowls are team success. We're just talking about the accolades and what all he's done. And now his touchdown to interception ratio is mad crazy.
Yeah, out of this world. Absolutely.
Out of this world. And then he got, 4 MVPs. I mean, that's kind of hard to get. You know what I mean? Who got more? I think it's Peyton Manning.
Yes,
he got 5.
Peyton Manning's got 5.
Yeah. So I gotta go with A-Rod. I mean, when he see a play that's not there, he know how to scramble outside the pocket and bam, get the dime right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Mahomes we know can do that too. Playing devil's advocate.
Their completion percentage goes up when they leave the pocket. That's unique.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay, now what about Hail Mary throws?
Now that I'm gonna give A-Rod, but
you gotta get at the A-Rod, Bruce.
I mean, those are kind of chance plays. I don't know how much weight you want to put on that.
And there's also not a huge sample size either way. But yes, A-Rod is arguably the best Hail Mary thrower ever. So I'll give you that.
So that's what I'm saying. And then, it was a season, I forgot when it was, when he only had, I think it was 26 TDs and about 2 or 3 interceptions. He was just throwing a lot of throwaway balls. I mean, but I wouldn't say it's just that hard. I mean, they both right there now. With that being said, I mean, even though now we just talk about team success, A-Rod got 1 Super Bowl. Is he in the room with those guys like the Patty?
No.
Bruce, he got a chip.
No.
He can't sit at the table, but he's not in the room.
Okay. So let's look at who's in the room. Bradshaw's in the room, Elway's in the room, Brady's in the room, Montana's in the room. I don't know if A-Rod can get in that room, man. He's in that room with Drew Brees.
Whoa, Bruce.
What?
Bruce, we can't. Okay, look. Let's just say this. If we doing it that, then how about this? Dan Marino can walk in, but he can't sit at the table with those guys because he doesn't have the.
Dan Marino's not in that room either, man. I hate to break it to you.
No. I'm talking about. No. What I'm saying is that there are certain tables in rooms you can go into.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, fine. So if you want to put all those dudes in the room, that's fine. But there's different tables.
Yeah, different tables. I see Tom Brady sitting right now. He's sitting by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Patty, and then you got the Elways,
Peyton Manning, Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's one that we don't remember a lot.
Yeah, but see, nobody remember that second Super Bowl. I mean, we all like to throw LeBron in there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody remember, in it. But I'm just saying, he forgot that he won 2. But he did win that second one. But he was horrible.
Yes, we know.
With the Broncos, you know what I'm saying? But he did get his second.
That year, but overall. He did. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He got that second tip, no doubt about it. But when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, man, he's in there. You can't put him with Manny Ice. Manny Ice got that 1 MVP. But he's in that room, but he can't sit at the table with the Patties and nothing like that. But he's in there, man. So I did, man. That prime Aaron Rodgers was a bad boy.
Yeah, he was.
He was a bad boy. But when it comes to the Super Bowl and everything like that, man, that's all team success. I'm just looking at the individual individual awards, man. But that's all I got to say, brother.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for the call,
Edward. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right, brother. All right, caller from Ohio, call back. We just
That's the goon, bro. That's the goon.
Okay. Yeah, all right, goon, call us back, man. Call us back. We definitely want to hear from you on this.
You know, when the goons are calling, you got problems, bro.
right. I ain't gonna let the goon know where I live. What's going on?
I just gotta say, I don't even know why we're having this conversation about Mahomes and Rodgers when at the end of the day, winning is what matters.
It is.
Aaron Rodgers is like the LeBron of football if he won less. He is one of the most talented football players ever and is arguably a top 3 passer ever. But he, at the end of the day, he couldn't win when he was in the best possible situation he could have been.
Okay.
That's my problem. And I think Mahomes, he's overachieved so much in his career with some of these teams. I'm going to say the one team he had with Tyreek Hill, they should have won that, and he probably shouldn't have lost against Tampa Bay. But those two Super Bowls from 2 years ago, that is really what solidified him. I think he's a top 3 quarterback ever. Ooh. And I'm probably biased because he's from my generation. But I just, at the end of the day, winning is what matters. And the dominance he showed over the league since he got in is what puts him above Aaron Rodgers. And I know he has less MVPs, but football at the end of the day is a team sport.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with the MVP thing.
And I think Aaron Rodgers he didn't give a shit after he won. And I think he should have won more in his career. And that's my biggest problem.
Yeah, so I also think it's a situation of maybe underachievement in your perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we're going to use the Andy Reid argument, but we were saying about that guy in New England, and then he goes to Tampa Bay and he wins one.
Right.
So I feel like that argument is also relevant because we're also looking at the talent Mahomes has as well. So I don't know. I just wanted to give my piece about it.
No, I appreciate that, man. I just don't think it's quite as definitive as you make it, but I'm not mad at you saying that it's Mahomes. I'm okay with that. I just don't think it's that definitive when you look at down the line what these dudes were able to do. And I get it. It is about winning, no question. So if anything, the winning is the separator, and I'm fine with that.
I just got to work. I just wanted to call and give my piece. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Format Podcast.
Oh, man. Yeah. I got you.
All right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Good call from Goon.
I'm like that too, bro.
Out of the gate.
I'm like that too. I'm always looking at players if they left meat on the bone. You know what I'm saying? Like, could they have squeezed out another chip, another accomplishment?
Right.
Did they do something that hindered their potential to achieve?
Right.
Because the numbers are there. You can't really distinguish these guys by the numbers.
And real quick, as we're talking about leaving meat on the bone, pause. What you got to look at, if we're doing any type of NBA comparison, that's why, as much as I'm in no way any sort of Lakers fan, I have so much respect for Kobe, because nobody can ever say he left anything out there. Like
they do talk about the years in between Shaq and Powell.
How? No,
they
Kobe
do. They
did everything he could do with that roster.
They say they didn't have the winning and that they hold him to that standard. It's tough, bro, but they say that.
Wow.
I don't. I think that run with the 3 trips to the finals with the 2 chips, I think that's like
he didn't have a top 75 player with him when he did that.
It's a unique storyline that we really haven't seen.
Right.
He literally had 2 segments of his career.
Correct.
That were standalone, all-time great.
Yes.
Who has 2 careers in one? It's unique. It's only a couple of guys that are able to resurrect their career in that way.
Right. Yeah. No, that's why I give Kobe all of his due, man, because he truly squeezed every single bit of everything out of that career that he had. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit to that. I think Aaron was in his way a little bit, his own way.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I respect that. All right, let's go to the final topic. Baltimore Bruce gonna love this, but we got to keep it a buck here, right? We got to keep it a buck. Caitlin Clark, man. Caitlin Clark, arguably the face of the WNBA, probably shouldn't be, but she is. Obviously, she has brought a lot of attention and a lot of eyes to the league. had a tremendous rookie season, record-setting, et cetera, et cetera. But, and shout out to my man Bruce, he said before the season started, he says he guarantees Caitlin Clark will regress this year. And I'm like, nah, bro, I don't know if I see that, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, they got a new coach. All she has to do is keep working, tone down the turnovers and focus more on the defense, right? Cool, no problem there. Caitlin Clark now is she missed the game Friday night against the Dallas Wings, which was supposed to be a great WNBA matchup between herself and the presumptive rookie of the year. I know it's early, but I'm pretty sure she's going to get it, Paige Beckers, right? Coincidentally, Paige Beckers was supposed to be Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark, but I think she ripped her knee twice in college, right? I know she had one ACL. I know she, but the point is she suffered major injuries in college, and that slowed her up and allowed for Caitlin Clark to really, take off like the rocket ship that she became. So, there's no shot at Caitlin Clark, but she clearly is not playing this season the way she played as a rookie. And it is interesting because she has regressed, and now we're looking at it. She's faced major injuries, or not major injuries, but injuries kind of for the first time in her career. And then on top of that, we've got she's faced the injuries for the first time in her career. And on top of that, then you see she's just not playing nearly as well, which is weird, right? In this second year, knowing more so what the physicality of the league is that she would be facing. And we saw she did a lot of weight training to get stronger, a lot of work on her game in the offseason, but it's not really appearing to be showing up, right? She's a little more chippy this year. Instead of just taking things, she's instigating and antagonizing a lot more, but it's not, in my estimation, like she's gotten a lot better, right? There's still a lot of complaining to the officials. There's a lot of, starting things with people and then walking away and let her teammates handle it. Nah, you want to start stuff, stand there and be ready, right? Now, if your teammates come to defend you as they should, as any teammate should, that's cool. But you don't start stuff and then, walk away like you didn't do anything. Nah, I don't respect that. Also, we're looking at her and she is shooting worse this year, right? Her shooting percentage is from 42 to 39% this year. She's basically taking the same amount of shots, but she's just making less of them, right? Her 3-point percentage is down from 34 to 29. Now, I don't know if part of that is just bad shot selection. I don't know if part of that is the defense is being played on her. But one of the main things about Caitlin Clark is that she's known for being an elite shooter. And we know the type of range she has. Steve, you idiot. I don't know. She's known for the type of elite range she has, but she's just shooting a terrible percentage this year. She is shooting 29.5%. So we'll give her 30% from three this year. And that's not going to make it. Her effective field goal percentage is down from last year, 53 to 47 this year. And the big one for me, her scoring is down. Her assists are slightly up, but her scoring is down. But the big one for me is the fact that her turnovers somehow, which were a league record worst last year at 5.6 turnovers per game, have actually increased to 5.9. What the hell is she doing? Like, why can't she hold turnovers?
That's a player who is not careful with the ball, is taking a lot of unnecessary chances, and is not properly executing when it comes to decision making. Right. So you're making an active decision that I'm going to do this.
Right.
And not preserving or taking care of the ball possessions. When you look at the box score, it shows, but then when you look at the outcomes of the games, it shows. So if they're losing the turnover margins, that means the other team is getting more possessions.
Yeah.
And very typically when you turn over the ball, it puts your defense in an inopportune position. They're on their back heels. They're trying to get back. That's Transition points are very easy to score compared to sets where the defense can set. Right. So there's going to have to be an evolution of her maturity as a player to improve that. You can't have 7 turnovers a game.
No, you cannot.
That's just not. And I'm very different. NBA people, maybe the W's the same way. They don't seem to honor and value possession and carefulness with the ball
Isn't
like
that
the
weird?
NFL fans do.
Yeah.
Like you turn over the ball in the league, you will be benched.
Yes.
You are going to sit the rest of the game unless you are an all-pro talent that made the occasional error.
Right.
You will be benched. Like I watched Bill Belichick bench players who were their best players
Yeah.
for turning over the ball.
That's right. Maybe because possessions, are harder to come by in the NFL versus
But it's perceived value. That's coaching. That's culture. That's the organization. That's the indictment on the team itself.
Mm-hmm,
Do you value possessions?
Right. No, I totally get that. And it's disturbing because that was the thing I kept saying going into the season. Okay, when she gets these turnovers, if she can get those turnovers, it was 5.6 a game last year. If she could have got down to 3.5, we see a big difference. But
with the ball in her hand that often, and doing as much as she does, and getting 3.5 a game would be just fine.
That would be fine. We saw Magic Johnson get 3.5. Not that I'm comparing her to Magic, but the greatest point guard of all time.
But look at what they produce with those chances.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no, I'm with you. So I was saying if she can cut those turnovers, we're going to see a huge jump in how good she is. And so that's the crazy part because I think Paige Beckers is averaging like 2.5 turnovers per game. She plays the same position.
Much better grasp of the game.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think that comes down to?
The possession.
You know what I think that comes down to? Gino Auriemma. Paige Beckers played in a system with an absolutely elite, all-time great coach in Gino Auriemma. I think that is a huge difference maker in terms of how she sees the game, how she plays the game, shot selection. She's shooting 46% from the floor, Paige Beckers, and nobody would say she's a better shooter than Caitlin Clark, right?
Why?
She's shooting 33% from three, 87% from the line, 46% from the floor. That's crazy, right? 5.8 assists. She's averaging 2.2 turnovers per game. And she's always got the ball. She runs point. Like,
that's impressive.
That's coaching, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's coaching. And realistically, and this is no shot at Caitlin, Lisa Bluter let her do whatever she wanted at Iowa. Why? She was scoring tons of points. She was carrying the team. She was getting them to the tournament, blah, 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 right?
How many years removed are we talking about a player from when she had just the most, like the biggest green light, right? Like half her passes were 40 feet or more. They were just going from one side of the court to the other.
It's great. I think she's the best outlet passer.
But those are high risk plays, is what I'm saying. She's been playing a high risk brand of basketball her whole career.
She needs a coach that will rein her in. I mean, we get it. She fills the seat. She put butts in the seats and fills the stadiums and sells merch and all that. But if you really want to win and help her maximize her ability, you got to have a coach that'll rein her in.
Yeah. Steph Curry was benched on multiple occasions by Mark Jackson.
Look, if it has to be done, it has to be done.
For taking really bad, like those 30-foot threes, it drove him crazy. As a coach, there's certain things you can and can't tolerate. It's like non-negotiables. If you're a no-nonsense coach that values possession, a player that turns over the ball is a problem. And unfortunately, if she's going to reach whatever the potential ends up being, part of that is going to be becoming her better at taking care of the ball and her in her natural position.
No, I agree with that. So what I wanted to do also is look back at some of the other all-time greats more recently, but to see how did they do in their second year versus their first year in the W. So first one I looked at was actually Caitlin Clark's idol, Maya Moore. And Maya Moore won Rookie of the Year, as did Caitlin Clark. And she made a pretty solid jump from her first to her second year, right? So she went from 13th in MVP voting to 4th in MVP voting and All-NBA second team as a second-year player. Her three-point shooting went up. Her field goal percentage went up. Her scoring went up. Her 2-point percentage went up. She increased on like everything.
Do they have the win shares percentage for them?
Win shares. Maybe that's on the advanced.
Once in a while, they'll have like an advanced statistic that's like win share or like the above replacement. Some of those advanced are always kind of interesting.
Okay, yeah, the win shares for Maya Moore went from 5.3 as a rookie to 7.4 as a sophomore. Yeah. So let's look at Caitlin Clark's. I didn't even scroll down. Normally, I don't look at advanced stats. That's like the nerd stuff. But
those two I find interesting because they usually correlate to winning.
Okay, so that's a very good point because to your point, Caitlin Clark had 3 win shares last year, 0.4 this year. So there you go. If you want to look at the advanced stats, that's a big one. That is
she's dangerous. She's a threat. She could score from a lot of different situations, locations, and ways, right? Because of her movement, her elusiveness, her range, but it's not parlaying into wins for her teams.
Right.
The threat parlays into the play-to-play stuff. Like, you have to defend her, you got to be out here, you got to do this, but it's not parlaying into the winning this season like it did last season.
Right. Yeah, no, it's tough. So we saw Maya Moore do a definite increase from first to second year. So then I looked up Diana Taurasi, the player that most regard as the GOAT in the women's game.
Yeah, she was amazing.
And we actually see a slight drop off in her scoring in her second year, but a 1 point drop off in scoring, but her blocks increased, her turnovers slightly increased from 2.6 to 3.4. I would assume she had the ball in her hands more that second year. Steals about the same, assists up, rebounds about the same, free throw percentage increased, 2-point percentage increased, 3-point percentage about the same. So we saw slight increases for Diana Taurasi in the second year. So what we're seeing is more people improving in their second year, and then we'll go Candace Parker. Now, she's the only one. I think she had some injury issues. She played 33 games as a rookie and 25 games as a sophomore. But it would be hard to she would have been very hard pressed to defeat her rookie season as a sophomore. Why? Because she won MVP as a rookie, All NBA first team, and of course Rookie of the Year. And I think they won the championship that year as well.
Yeah, that's hard to
beat. They won the championship. That's hard to beat, right?
It's so more likely than not to be a regression.
Yeah. Her numbers came down, and again, I think there was some injury at play there, just based on the fact that she played.
Oh, and best believe it, Bruce. There's an injury element to this Caitlin Clark season. It's definitely in play. She missed a very large majority of the games so far.
Yeah, I think she missed like 4 or 5 games already, and then she missed the game the other night. So the question is, I've actually heard, I heard Jason Whitlock saying that he feels like this last game she missed was less injury and more so her needing a mental break based on everything she's going through. He's a big CC fan, so I don't know that I'm going to go that far into giving her that excuse. But we have seen it, right? We've seen LeBron need mental breaks, and some people believe he's the greatest player of all time. So I don't know, but just watching. And again, shout out to Bruce because he called this. I really need to start getting gambling advice from this dude. If I was a gambler, I'd call him. But he called this. He said she's going to regress this year, and he guaranteed it. And so far, he's on 100%. So, so you just look and, I think watching what Paige Beckers is able to do, again, a big part of that is her having been coached the right way in college and her playing the game and having a different outlook on how the game should be played. And Caitlin Clark, plain and simple, she's sloppy, man. Sloppy. And so shot selection needs a ton of work, even though it's exciting to watch. And the turnovers, man, the turnovers are tough. Because like you said, 3.5 would be okay. That wouldn't be a nightmare. But when we're talking about it's about to be 6 per game this season, 5.9, that's not the one you want. It's a lot of possessions going the other way. So you got anything you wanted to add before we wrap this and open the phone lines for this topic?
There's a chance that this is the worst season of her NBA career.
Oh, yeah. I can see it. Yeah, between the injuries and between the way she's playing when she is on the floor. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's open up the phone lines. We'll take a couple on this, and then we'll get you guys out of here to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. I'm sure we can.
Do we get the king of the live chat in here? That's the question.
Right. I can assume we'll probably get that call. And we'll probably get a call from Bruce. I would be surprised if we didn't.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark's got upside, got potential, got an incredible ability. The thing that Paige had is why she'll be perennially a top player in the league, because those things have been established as habit and core values as a player. They're those two players are really different.
Right. King of the chat, what's going on, man?
I called because I was summoned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The people want to hear. Listen, I agree with everything you said. She's washed up. She needs to hang them up. She needs to retire from the league, and I will gladly welcome her into my kitchen. She can make sandwiches and raise our Catholic babies. It will be glorious. And listen, I told you this a year ago. I think I told you this a year ago. I said, she's going to retire. You guys are going to enjoy the time you had with Caitlin Clark. She's soon to be Caitlin Splenda. And you guys had her for that. You guys had her for the brief moment you did. Enjoy the highlights for what they are, because now she is going to be a homemaker, and she is going to go by Mrs. King of the chat.
There you go.
And we're going to live happily ever after. Edward's going to call me white knighting, and that's fine. That's to a degree, he's right.
Right.
But I agree with everything you guys said about her game. She's dealing with injuries. I do think the turnover thing is a problem, but don't worry, she will protect our children better than she protects The Rock. So on that front, I'm not too worried. She's not going to be dribbling our babies down the court. Fine, we're good. But yeah, I definitely see this as she's definitely she's regressed. Now you can argue there's contributing factors, but point being is, it's like, hey man, you set the standard, or actually, hey lady, you set the standard, so people do have an expectation. I'm sure she does as well.
Right.
And I don't know how much of the injury. I just troll mostly with women's sports, so I don't really watch everything. I don't know the severity of these injuries she's had or she's dealing with this year. I'm sure that's a contributing factor. But when on the floor, the turnovers isn't an excuse. Like, you just can't be that lackadaisical with the ball.
Right.
So I get the fanfare and like why people claim that she's the face of the league, but she's not. It's truly Asia. I mean, she's so dominant. I don't know how anybody could actually claim that she's the only if you're talking like marketability metrics.
Right.
But as far as like on the floor, that's why I say this is it. She peaked. She's got to hang them up now. It's over. It's sandwiches and baby raising from here on out, man. That's
Steve. Did you shoot your shot
for everybody?
Did you shoot your shot, man? You gotta get in those DMs, man.
I've been shooting my shot. Listen, she ain't even that hot.
Megan McConnell.
Listen. She's a dime. But here's the truth. I'm an objective 5. Caitlin at her best is a 6 at best. So it's like, listen, I'm a realist. I gotta shoot my shot for within my range.
Okay.
I can't be shooting from 30 foot. So it's like, Megan McConnell, yeah, she's a baddie. But like, let's be real here. She ain't making sandwiches for me. Caitlin, objective 6. That's in my wheelhouse. Wheelhouse.
Okay.
You gotta have reasonable expectations.
Fair enough.
All right, fellas. I'll let y'all be.
I appreciate the call, man.
Peace.
All right, brother.
Steve, man, this is crazy.
Steve is insane.
The sandwiches, bro. Like,
yeah, he's all about the sandwiches. Steve is nuts. All right, we got time for one more call. I'm surprised I'm not getting this call from Bruce, man. I'm really expecting that because I want him to take his victory lap on this.
There's a lot of venom for Caitlin Clark because of her position within the league without accomplishing much. So I think there's a lot of fans that are like,
I get that,
pretty loud about, what have you done? Like, you're not even really that great. Like, there's all these other players that deserve more run and more shine and all these things. But it's like that thing that you just can't avoid. There's the marketing element. She's like the cash cow for the league.
Yeah.
Like she does more for one team and the rest of the league than any other player. As great as Asia Wilson is, the following for Caitlin Clark is an unstoppable locomotion.
It really is. And I mean, I think Transformer and I did this segment a few weeks ago about her economic impact on the league. This was, I think, while she was still recovering from I think she had a pulled quad. And we discussed that, man. Her economic impact on the league is absurd. So, like, I don't think you can be. If you're one of the other players, you can't really be mad at that. You just got to take advantage of that. You know.
Well, I mean, you remember when Deanna?
She probably is a beast, American Friedman. Absolutely. She's going to be the MVP this year. What's up, Sneak?
When Diana Taurasi was talking about, like you're coming to the big league and all that, like that goes without saying. You coming out publicly and saying it is kind of distasteful. It's not the time and the place. Like it's falling on ears that want to see her hyped up.
Right.
Like you're trying to put a cold blanket on a hot situation. Momentum and growth of the league is hinging upon her.
Right.
I didn't really get that. We got the call.
No,
there it is.
That's the one. What's up, Bruce?
What's going on with you, man?
What's going on, brother?
Bruce.
What's going on, Steve, man? Good show.
Appreciate it,
bro. Thank you.
Hey, man, don't never. Hey, didn't I call it? Didn't I think you was gonna regret?
You sure did, and we gotta give you flowers for that. Absolutely.
She's exciting to watch. I'll give her that. But he's sloppy. She'll get better though.
Very sloppy.
She's sloppy. And truth be told, man, she's the cash cow. She's not the face of the league, but she's the cash cow.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Let me say this to you, Bruce, real quick. Yeah. It's funny. You're 100% right about her regressing. Meanwhile, we're seeing your girl, your young lady, however you want to refer, Angel Reese. We're seeing her improving. Yeah. So shouts for that too, man. Shouts for that.
Yeah. She went back to back 18 and 17. Back to back game.
Yeah, that's big, man. It's big.
That's monstrous numbers, man.
Monstrous.
That's
yes, sir.
17 rebounds back. That's not heard of in the WNBA. I mean, who was a great rebounder in the WNBA that you could recall? Not too many. She's really like making this an art. Like this, she's really good at it. Like,
Asia Wilson, Tina Charles, Lisa Leslie, but not like this.
Not like this.
Right,
you look at it. I don't want to make this conversation about Angel Reese, but by her positioning of boxing out, somebody told her that really well. She boxed out well.
Absolutely.
She's relentless. She's relentless on the boards.
No question.
I just hope one day she really get a chance to shine on a team with some good guards so they can really compete for a title in one day thing. But
that's fair.
As far as Caitlin Clark, man, hey man, she regressed. That don't mean that she's going to get better. I don't know, man. She's sloppy with the ball. She's shooting 30% from three.
Yeah, man, terrible.
It just look good when it go on. Which how she shooted. It do look good. It's entertaining. And Indiana is loaded with talent too. I don't know what their record is this year. I don't know, man. And she keep coming up these little mysterious knick-knack injuries.
Yeah, I'm curious to know, like this one here, is she really injured or is this a mental break?
Said it's supposed to be
I'm curious.
A mental break. I mean, they said, what is that? A mental break? Who does that? LeBron did it one time. I thought it was soft. Michael Jordan would have never did no damn mental break. It's just you need a mental break. You can't handle the scrutiny or whatever's going on. You got a mental break. You think Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan took a mental break? They would have used that stress or the whatever's going on in their mind as motivation.
They took it out on somebody else. Right.
So her taking a mental break, she's what is that? Oh, you need a mental break because them girls locking her up.
Right.
She probably. It seems like when people play against her, they play their best. They play their hardest on defense. Especially those. There's a great perimeter defenders in the. These girls be scrapping, man. For some reason. You're right. It's like some teams in hardcore. What you ready to say, bro?
Say again, my bad.
What you just get ready to say?
No, you're fine. I was just about to say that, man. Hopefully, she will use that to improve and get better. That's all.
Is she really tough? She said she can't make no chump though. I don't know. It's like everybody's against her though. People actually don't like her. They don't like that girl, yo.
No, there's definitely some people that don't like her. But I mean, that's part of the game, though. That's part of it.
The peers, her peers, and a lot of people actually don't like her, and it's got nothing to do with race. Because I've been seeing Caucasian women go at her. Like it's just he was just don't like her. I don't know. She should take that as food. She need a mental break for. Come on now, you toughen up.
I hope that it's not a mental break. It could be, but I hope it's not. That's all.
Yes. Yeah, man. Like I say, she was gonna regress. I didn't mean it in the mean way, though. I know.
I hear you.
She was gonna regress. But yeah, man. Other than that, yeah. Can I one tidbit? How you feeling today, Mr. Speed? Mr. Sneed?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for asking. How are you?
That's awesome. Can I address something real quick? Before I get off?
Sure.
Because you know how I feel about the Don Stanley thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I know you don't like it, but we don't get too many details. Malone. I like Malone in New York because I think he's a Brooklyn guy or the Jersey guy.
He's a Queens guy.
Queens.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the Knicks don't have that ownership don't have no direction, man. Like
none.
They handle nobody in the back. Like you get going. Like they fired Ted. Should never fire Ted. But Don Slay, I just think it could be monumental. I just think it'd be a good thing. I don't know. We got differences of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, do you acknowledge the risk?
Yes. Hey, look, I say yes, I like the risk.
Okay. All right.
I like the risk. Hey, if you don't take the risk, you lose the chance. But I don't know, man. But risk, I don't know. It's gonna be weird to see a woman. It is gonna be weird to see a woman on the NBA sideline. But why can a man get coaching the WNBA? What's the difference? You just trying to say a woman can't be a leader amongst men? You don't see that happening, huh, Bruce?
Nope, I do not. Trying to trap me in. No, I said it. I don't see it. Nope.
But a man can lead a lead woman. They can coach the WNBA. Though,
how was the world built? Let's leave it at that.
But Don got cachet though, yeah.
Not.
You don't think men will respect her?
You really trying to walk me into this thing? But I will just say,
come on, come on, stop, man. This is what it's about, baby.
I said what I had to say earlier. And that's, I don't think that is the optimal situation for a woman to be coaching a bunch of young testosterone fueled men. It's just, no, can't see it.
If it backfired, would you be surprised, Bruce?
You talk Bruce number one or Bruce number two?
Bruce on the phone. Bruce on the phone. Would you be surprised if things exploded and backfired?
No, I won't be surprised.
Same, I agree.
But I said, I mean,
he just want me to say it.
That's Don Stanley, though, man. Come on, man. Like,
doesn't matter.
Come on, man.
Doesn't matter.
She's a woman. Man, go ahead, Bruce. Stop that. But I understand. Hey, man, your boys have a great Sunday, man. I catch up with y'all.
Hey, thanks for the call, Bruce. I appreciate it.
Hey, Bruce, real quick, did you see the fight last night?
No, man, I fell asleep. I did not see the fight. I need to go watch. I'm gonna watch it today, though.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right, brother.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah, Bruce always trying to set me up, but that's okay.
Face of the league never came through, bro.
No, he didn't. Like, what I noticed, a lot of people have stuff to say, but when it comes time to pick up the phone, a lot of people aren't trying to do that. Not like I could do anything.
This is a very inviting platform.
I would like to think so.
Yeah, it's a very inviting platform. Like nobody is degrading one another.
Right.
You know, you don't see it. It's not a degenerate platform where things get nasty. You know?
Right. Yeah. But okay, guys, we are
going to call it a safe space, Bruce. They call it a safe space.
That's an interesting term. But we are going to leave it right there, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us today on this Sunday. Easy work, great topic. Sneed, thank you for joining, man.
Good to be here, man. Thank you.
Always appreciate your feedback on these topics. This was good. Transformers going to be mad he missed this, man. We had 2 NFL topics.
And the Rodgers thing is him, bro.
Yeah, that's all him. Yeah, he would have loved that. But listen, y'all, if you haven't already on the way out, you know the drill, man. Click the like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all. And y'all have a great day. You missed the episode about the Mainer
Yeah, he was talking about Cooper Flag.
Oh, Cooper. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. All right, Raging Dusty. Well, here's what you do. You go to the Format Podcast, you like and subscribe, and you can check that out, man. Catch the replay because it'll be ready as soon as we click end.
That's right.
All right. But y'all have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday. Thanks for joining us. We out. Peace.